Namaskar. Educational psychology, growth and development psychology deals with not only the behavior of the conscious level but it also deals with the experiences of subconscious mind and unconscious levels of the mind. The word psychology is derived from two Greek words, psyche and logos. Psyche means soul, logos means science. So psychology in the beginning was meant to be the science of the soul, but later people begin to question the existence of the soul. Psychology was defined as the mind or science of mind. The activity of the mind cannot be extremely observable. So psychology was defined later as the science of human behavior. What is educational psychology? Educational psychology will help the teacher to get answers to the following questions. Who is to be educated? Why should one be educated? Where should education be given? When it should be given? How should it be given? And many other questions related to the teaching and learning process. Educational psychology has different dimensions. It deals with the characteristics of a student's teaching learning context, methods of teaching learning strategies, the mentality of the student's mental hygiene, and other aspects of educational growth and development. As far as human being is concerned, life starts with the conception in the mother's womb as a result of the process of fertilization of the ovum itself of the mother by the sperm cell of the father. The mother's womb then becomes a site and the meaning for the growth and development of the new life in it. And it is only after 9 months that the baby is able to come into the world as a newborn. The period spent in mother's womb is termed as prenatal period and is usually not included in the computation of one's chronological age. Difference between growth and development. Growth. The term growth may be limited to the change in the qualitative aspects, example increase in size, length, height, and weight, and expression of vocabulary terms. The term growth carries limited and narrow meaning. It is a subsystem of the development as it is concerned merely with the qualitative changes in the quantitative changes in the comparison to the overall changes described and explained by the process of development. This does not continue throughout one's life. It stops when maturity has been attained. The results of the growth in terms of qualitative change are very specific, fairly easy to observe and measure. Development. The term development implies the overall changes occurring in both the quantitative as well as qualitative aspects. Therefore, development as a term carries a wider and more comprehensive meaning than the term growth. Development is a continuous process starting from the conception. It does not end with the attainment of maturity, but continuous growth continuous throughout the entire lifespan of an individual. Individual differences. Every child grows and develops in a different environment according to the environment and experience. They differ. Psychology will help the teacher to understand students' characteristics, behavior, and individual differences, and accordingly design teaching learning activities in the classroom to suit the requirements of the students. Psychology will also help the teachers to develop and use appropriate methods and teaching aids based on the terminology of teaching evaluation. Adolescent learner. The word adolescence comes from the Latin word adolescere, which means to grow. So, essence of the word adolescence is growth, and it is in the sense that adolescence represents a period of intensive growth and change in nearly all aspects of a child's physical, mental, and social and emotional life. Adolescence begins with the onset of puberty, lasts until the beginning of the adulthood. Several psychological and psychological changes occurs during this period. According to the Cole, adolescence is a period of growth in all systems of the body. In the course of a few years, the individual undergoes both in size and in his internal body chemistry. The rapidity, variety, and force of these developments are amazing. These changes are so extensive that some people all these changes second birth. Adolescent period approximately aged between 10 and 19 years. Adolescence is commonly defined as the stage of life that begins at the onset of puberty and when sexual maturity or the ability to reproduce is attained. It has been regarded as a period of rapid change both biologically and psychologically. Growth and development during the adolescent period. Physical development at the adolescent stage. Smartly changes take place in the following domain: height and weight, body proportion changes, voice, increase in motor performance, sexual changes, cognitive development. The adolescent learns to reason and seek answers to how and why of everything rationally and scientifically. The power of critical thinking and observation is much developed. They are more creative and inquisitive. They are almost critical of everything. They develop a lot of imagination. This becomes the beginning of the artist, inventor, philosopher, poet, and writer. It is in the adolescent. Social development. Adolescence is also is marked with too much sex consciousness, resulting in social relationships. Loyalty, loyalty becomes very much pronounced. Adolescence is in a mood to sacrifice their selfish interest for the greater cause of the group, society, and nation. Increased friendly relationships. The emotional behavior of the adolescent dominates its social characteristics and qualities. There is too much diversity in adolescents regarding their social interests. Emotional development is one of the major aspects of adolescents' growth and development. Not only adolescent physical growth and development are linked with his emotional makeup, but his aesthetic, intellectual, moral, and social development is also controlled by his emotional development. To keep one's emotions under control and be able to concern them is considered a mark of a strong and balanced personality, and therefore adolescents must be trained to control their emotions and achieve a mental balance and stability which will lead to individual happiness and social efficiency. Learning takes place in many ways. There are some methods that are used in the acquisition of simple responses, while other methods are used in the acquisition of complex responses. The simplest kind of learning is conditioning. These two types of conditioning have been identified: classical conditioning, instrumental operant conditioning. In addition, we have trial and error learning and insight learning, observational learning, cognitive learning, verbal learning, concept learning, and skill learning. Types of learning. Learning is explained in terms of stimulus and response by a group of psychologists. Two types of learning based on stimulus response are described by Pavlov and Skinner. Pavlov called this classical conditioning and Skinner operant conditioning. Trial and error theory of learning. Learning. Edward Lee Thorndike, the famous psychologist Edward Lee Thorndike, 1834 to 1949, was the initiator of the theory of the trial and error learning based on the findings of his experiment on the cat. Thorndike's law of learning. Thorndike pronounced that the following laws of learning on the basis of his theoretical notion about the learning process: the law of readiness, the law of exercise, the law of effect. Classical conditioning. Ivan Pavlov theory of learning. This type of learning was first investigated by Ivan Pavlov. He was primarily interested in the psychology of digestion. During his studies, he noticed that dogs on whom he was doing his experiment started secreting saliva as soon as they saw them empty plate in which food was served. As you must be aware, saliva secretion is a reflexive response to food or something in the mouth. Pavlov designed an experiment to understand this process in detail, in which dogs were used once again. Principles of classical conditioning theory: extinction, spontaneous recovery, stimulus generalization, stimulus discrimination, operant conditioning, Skinner theory of learning. This type of conditioning was first investigated by B.Ed. Skinner. Skinner studied the occurrence of voluntary responses when an organization operates on the environment. He called the operants. Operants are that behavior or responses which are emitted by animals and human beings voluntarily and are under their control. The term operant is used when the organ operates on the environment. Conditioning of the operant behavior is called operant conditioning. Skinner experimented with white rats. Gestalt theory. The cognitive psychologists try to see learning as a more deliberate and conscious effect of the individual rather than a product of mere habit formation or a stimulus response mechanism. Gestalt psychology is primarily concerned with the nature of perception. According to it, an individual perceives a thing as a whole, while the behavior and stimulus response theorists define perception tries to make it analogous with the taking of a picture photograph. They hold that sometimes comes prior to the meaning and considers these two act as separate. Kohler 1925 used the term insight first of all to describe the learning of each apes. During the period 1913 to 1917, he conducted many experiments on chimpanzees in the Canary Island and embodied his findings in his book E.B. In one experiment, Kohler put the chimpanzee Sultan inside a cage and the banana was hung from the roof of the cage. A box was placed inside the cage and the chimpanzee tried to reach the banana by jumping but could not succeed. Suddenly he got an idea and used the box as a jumping platform by placing it just below the hanging banana. Though Kohler seemed to see insightful learning in terms of a sudden aha or a bolt of lightning. It was it is found to depend upon factors such as experience, intelligence, learning situation, individual efforts, reception and generalization, theories of development, cognitive theory of development. Swiss psychologist Jean Piaget is well known for his theory which describes how humans gather and organize information and how this process changes developmentally. What changes developmentally. Basic cognitive concepts according to Piaget are schema, assimilation, accommodation, equilibration. Piaget's stages to cognitive development. According to the Piaget, cognitive development unfolds as the child passes through these four stages in the sensory motor period birth to 18 to 24 months, the pre-operational period 2 to 7 years, the the concrete operational period 7 to 11 years, the formal operational period over 11 years. Psychosocial theory of development. Erik Erikson, the famous psychoanalyst, is considered with the developing the theory of psychosocial development, which covers normal development over the entire lifespan of human beings. Erikson discovered 8 such issues or crises of life rising at different ages or a period of one's development and linked them with 8 stages of one's psychosocial development covering one's entire lifespan. Stages of psychosocial development. Trust versus mistrust and anatomy versus shame or doubt. Initiative versus guilt. Initiative versus guilt. Industry versus inferiority. Identity versus role in confusion. Intimacy versus isolation. Generativity versus stagnation. Integrity versus despair. A specific age or period, birth to 1 year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 8 to 11 years, 11 to 18 years, 18 to 35 years, 35 to 60 years, 65 years, over 65 years. Theory of moral development. Lawrence Kohlberg, a psychologist belonging to the University of Harvard, is known for putting forward a theory of development of moral judgment in the individual rights from the years of early childhood. He has based his theory of moral development on the findings of which studies conducted on hundreds of children from different cultures. Kohlberg 6 stages of moral development. Level 1, pre-moral, age 4 to 10 years, stage 1. Level 1, pre-moral, age 4 to 10 years, stage 1, the stage of obedience for avoiding punishment. Stage 2, the stage of conforming to obtain rewards in favor in return. Level 2, conventionally morality, age 10 to 13 years. Stage 3, the stage of maintaining mutual relationships and approvals of others. Stage 4, the initiation, the stage of obedience for avoiding censure by higher authority or social system. Level 3, self-accepted moral principles. Age 13 or not until middle or later adulthood. Stage 5, stage of conforming to the democratically accepted laws and morals of political justice. 6, stage of conforming to the universal ethical principles and call of the one's consciousness. Stage of conforming to the universal ethical principles and the call of the one's conscience. Motivation is the force that energies and direct behavior towards a goal. Typically, the concept of motivation is applied by a person is energized to satisfy some need or desire. The person will change in or be attracted to activities that are perceived as having the potential to meet his need or desire. Kinds of motives. Biological motives, psychosocial motives, intelligence. Intelligence is an important ability, and it is closely associated with the educational achievement of an individual. Among the qualities that are needed for an individual to lead a happy and contented life, the most important one is intelligence. Intelligence is generally gets from the way a person appears to understand the fact or a group of facts and the manners in which she responds to those facts. Intelligence tests. Some of the major intelligence tests are individual tests, group tests, verbal tests, non-verbal programming tests, Stanford B.Ed test, the Western scale of intelligence, usage of intelligence test. Intelligence tests are used to understand the capacity of a child. It is used for homogeneous grouping. Intelligence tests are also used for the purpose of admission and selection to the various courses. Creativity is creating something innovative and unique. Creativity has the capacity or the ability of an individual to create, discover, and produce any or novel idea or object, including the rearrangement or recycling of what is already known to him, which proves to be a uniquely personal experience. Guilford defines creativity involving divergent thinking with respect to the traits of flexibility and originality of thought process. How to identify creativity by observation of behavior through rating scale and attitude scales by the help of interview or asking questions informally with the help of situational tests, interest inventory, aptitude test, projective techniques, and personality tests. It is by studying the cumulative record of maintained about the individual and with the standardized tests along with creativity tests, process and stage of creativity, stage of preparation, the stage of incubation, the stage of elimination, division. Creativity tests. Creativity tests may be used in the identification of creative in the same way as intelligence tests are used for the assessment of intelligence. There are many standardized tests available for this purpose in India. Some creativity tests standardized in India are backward these tests of creative thinking in the English class. Each tests of creativity are large, divergent production abilities, success tests of creativity, how to foster creativity, some of the methods or techniques that can be useful in fostering creativity among the students are freedom to respond, encouraging originality and flexibility, removing of agitation and fear, providing appropriate opportunities and atmosphere for creative expression, developing healthy habits among the children, reforming in the evaluation system, use of specific techniques like the brainstorming method, teaching by example, personality. Personality is something unique and specific. Each one of us is a unique person in oneself. Determinants of personality, genetic determinants, social determinants, cultural determinants, home, school, and teacher. Theories of personality. Psychologists have developed several theories of personality. Assessment of personality. The methods used for the assessment of personality may be termed as subjective, objective, and prejudice, and projective. Some methods which are used in the assessment of personality are observation, situational tests, questionnaire, personality inventory, rating scale, interview, cross-check, blood test, thematic perception test, TET. धन्यवाद. Thank you so much.